Brian Tracshr. Brian is an author, a public speaker, and a businessman in Louisiana. He campaigned on behalf of Donald Trump during the 2016 presidential campaign. Brian, thank you so much indeed for joining us. Just looking at the numbers in your country, 1,358,000 infections. And we know that more people have died in the United States than anywhere else in the world, more than 81,000. Dr. Anthony Fauci has spoken more than once about the risk of multiple outbreaks if US economies, state economies open up too quickly. Do you think that's scaremongering? Do you think he was pretty fair and balanced today when he spoke to the Senate?
Well, I want to go back to the comment you made about the U.S. having more deaths than any other country. That's if we believe all the other countries like China at face value, the numbers that they're giving us in their own countries. But fast forwarding to your other point, you have to understand that Dr. Fauci is not an elected official. He's not accountable to anyone. He has a constituency of one. He works for the president of the United States. Politicians are accountable to voters. So Fauci, as an epidemiologist in the country's top infectious disease expert, he's kind of like these people who predict how bad a hurricane season is going to be from year to year. When they're wrong, everybody's grateful. When they're right, they claim victory. So Fauci really only has to be like a broken clock and right every now and then. And when he's wrong, nobody's really going to take him to task for it. They're going to be happy that he's wrong. So he's always going to err on the side of safety and on the side of lockdown for now, because in his mind, he believes that has slowed and helped us bend the curve as we have here in the United States.
So if he's being careful, isn't that the sensible way to approach a disease that you just don't know what it's going to do to you? Apart from the fact that you might die, it could damage your body long term, because we're still finding out exactly how the virus affects the human body, and we know what the death rate is. What we don't really know are the longer term effects. Doctors have already spoken about some patients having lung problems for the rest of their lives. In other words, this is a dangerous disease. Wouldn't it be better to follow the advice of someone who's the top expert in your country and being more careful? Because it seems suggesting that actually it would be better to reopen up and take some risks.
Well, you have to decide. Do you want to die possibly from COVID-19? Or do you want to die from starvation and poverty? Poverty and starvation kills a lot more people in the world every year than any kind of virus does. And if you leave the economy shut down forever, that's what you're going to be faced with. People losing everything they've worked for, their entire life savings, their businesses, and there's not going to be enough money to buy food and feed your children. Yeah, you're right. I believe it's a dangerous disease, a virus. We still don't know everything about it. I think you're right about that, to your point. But at the same time, how far do you go? You ruin the entire country and the entire economy, because you also, too, you have to understand that not everywhere in the United States has been affected the same way. We've had hot spots. I live in New Orleans, which has been one of the hot spots, and there's been, it's not a city that normally practices social distancing. We've tried to get people acclimated to that, and it's helped, and we've bent the curve there as well, but we still have a little ways to go. To your point, I agree that you still have to proceed with caution, but you can't take and treat the whole country wholesale. You have to let local leaders decide what's best for their local communities. You're going to see some areas that were bigger hotspots stay closed longer, and other areas that were not very affected start to reopen again and let people get back to their lives.
Okay, would you like to see the federal government at least reach somewhere nearer the target that public health professionals say needs to be met in terms of how many people are tested every day? Your country has, I believe, more than 350 million people. And public health experts say that probably in an optimal scenario, up to 20 million tests would need to be conducted every day, because everybody all over the world understands that phase 2, when it comes to reopening, needs to be about testing those who have had it and tracing those who may have come into contact with those who have had it.
Well, fortunately, in the United States, we've tested more people than every other country in the world combined.
Yeah, but the thing is, Brian, hold on. Let's just, why don't you start again after I remind the viewers that 24 hours ago, Donald Trump said that 300,000 tests are being conducted a day. Obviously, that's nowhere near 20 million a day.
Oh, no, you're right. We're not at the 20 million. If we agree, let's just say for argument's sake that we agree that it has to be 20 million a day. We're not there yet. We have to get there. But again, you have parts of the country that were barely affected by this virus. Do we have to include those areas in the 20 million tests a day? No, I think we have to focus on the areas that were the hardest hit. We have to really, I think, focus on nursing homes. That's where this started. We found out that there were some governors in the Northeast that forced nursing homes to take COVID patients. That was a catastrophically deadly decision, and they're going to have to answer their voters about that. But yeah, we have to laser focus on doing efficient testing and meaningful testing, and not just wholesale across the board testing.
Brian, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it. Stay safe. Brian Tracshr
Thank you.
speaking to us from Louisiana.